Travis Wayne Goodsell. There was sufficient controversy in Utah news this evening that I'm gonna have to do a video for you and post it tomorrow because I'm already late as it is with the previous video I did, the church news. So the first bit of controversy is Mitt Romney has been a secret prophet, seer, and revelator of the church. Has some kind of a special calling, I guess, to be in government office. Are the other government officials in Washington D.C. are they also prophets, seers, and revelators? I don't know. So apparently, the BYU graduate who was part of Mitt's campaign back in the day when running for president is doing his Book of Revelations. That's the title. Romney's Revelations. Mormons. So somehow Mitt Romney became a prophet, seer, and revelator. Still, maybe that should be the theme song. I mean, the title of the video. We'll have to. There's lots of stuff, as you will soon find out if you stick around. Mitt special prophet, seer, revelator. Next, we need to give you background context for this. When I was a kid, TV was becoming more popular as every home in America was found to have at least one television, if not two televisions, back in the 70s in a single household. And most often it was one in the living room and then another in the bedroom, master bedroom, so that parents could watch late night TV, the Johnny Carson show, and SNL. And so psychologists needing employment, thus using humans to make their money, love the idea from religion, especially evangelicals and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and tried to claim that television was addictive. And we needed to protect the children from the addictions of TV. And I remember in Placentia, California, when I was 7 years old, graduated from first grade in Michigan, and then we moved to Southern California, and so at 8 years old, did I say seventh grade? 7 years old? And so when I was 7 years old, I start at Sierra Vista Elementary, which is right there at the border of Placentia, California, and Fullerton, California. And lots of memories there. Even a dinosaur dream that was chasing my family. My dreams are far more entertaining than TV. And and I remember watching TV. My parents come home from a special church combined priesthood relief society meeting, i.e. parents meeting, to talk about the dangers of TV watching. And my parents came home with a little thing that they made in project class to limit TV watching. And so, as a spoiled, rotten, firstborn, birthright blessing son that I was, hell no. There was a great uproar, an instant protest of the new plan to take away our agency and deny us an education. Because TV for me was educational, not entertainment. When I was 2 years old, I was technically 1.5, working my way to 2, my brother was born. And we were there in Oakland, California, as my dad was still going to Berkeley. And my brother had colic when he was born. And so my mom had to attend to him all day, all night. And so I was set in front of the TV. So the HBO show from the 89, I don't know how many years it went. Don't ask me how I knew about it, because it was on my mission. Dream On. That's my story. Although I think he had better luck with women than I did. I'm not sure. I haven't watched too many of them, and I need to get them again. But Amazon only has season 1, and I haven't had the money to buy it yet. Anyway. And so, yeah, there in 1971, I was set in front of the TV, and so TV was my initial education. And it helped me. Watching Sesame Street, and learning how to count, and learning the alphabet, and learning about phenomena. And Rubber Ducky had been a major influence in my life. And so I would go on to win the Math Bee in 2nd grade there in Placentia, California. And I was an A student until Feskin in 5th grade. But learned how to, one of these things is not like the other. Associative memory. I taught myself as a child how to associate, to learn by association rather than memorizing, because I got fed up with memorizing. It was tedious, and it was only just a few grades in. I was sick of school. Don't want to memorize. I want to apply what I learn. And Sesame Street and other shows help me do that. And so TV was a great educator for me, because I learned how to learn from TV. And many of the things in my life came from TV watching. And so when my parents come home with the church attacking us as kids, yeah, because what am I going to do now? My learning will get cut off. I'll end up having to sit in my room and do what? Or go outside and do what? I'm not learning anything. Nonetheless, it's addictive. And so, when I was getting older, and Atari came out, my dad brought home Pong. My next door neighbor, Glenn, I think his name was Glenn, his parents gave him the the more advanced computer game system. And I was invited to go over and watch Glenn play the games. But yeah, nonetheless. And so sure enough, psychologists again come out, help the church to attack video games and then arcade games, and it continued, even with the Xbox and the PlayStation games, still uprisings, addictive, harming our children. And then certain games were made for adults. So it mixed porn with video games. Everything is porn. TV, video games, books, movies, magazines. Women are awesome. Leave them alone. And so this is the upbringing that I've witnessed throughout my life. Is psychology influencing government, influencing Mormons, influencing our nation to cause problems that don't exist. Because likewise, The Simpsons did a whole episode about the importance of gaming in a kid's life. You can go on to be a mass murderer working for the government as a soldier behind a game console, blowing up our enemies. So yeah, it's not the thing itself, it's how it is taught to the children. And so during COVID, kids were sent home. And there were teachers who tried to do online teaching through the same method as in the classrooms, and it utterly failed. And kids' grades fell. And so they come back to school, and they're all hyped up on gaming and Disney Plus, and grades still continue to fall with the old teaching method. We really don't need teachers, but they need jobs, as they claim. They don't want to go into another field, a career field, to make money that way. And so all you need is to do what was done for me and have it be used for that purpose, to educate and then be entertaining at the same time. See, when I watch movies and TV shows, it's to learn from. So when I'm watching 24, it's not that I enjoy the explosions and the actions and the shootouts and all that stuff. I'm learning from it. And as I've experienced much in my life, I now understand why women cry during chick flicks. And so, yeah, when Audrey, I struggled to get through that. If you don't know who Audrey is, there's what's called Google search. 24 Audrey cast. Real simple. You can use it for the Joseph Smith papers. Nobody wants to do that. And so, yeah, now the news is saying that Utah is joining the lawsuit along with 39 other states to go after Meta. And if you've forgotten already, Utah tried to go after TikTok. Because those cute little girls twerking was addictive. restrictive. And don't forget Nelson. He's also fanning the flames, as his little video conference was all about the addictions in our lives that we need to go to a psycho for. Did you catch that? Family services. He was promoting family services, not just dissing on Natasha Helfer. Google search, guys. LDS Church, Natasha Helfer. Use YouTube and the internet to learn. Have to do everything. And so, yes, Meta, they're now going after Facebook. It's the same old situation, which that also could be the theme song in the description below. I had Train Kept a Rollin' and then Controversy with my Prince, and same old situation. Molly Grew. So many to choose from. We'll see what I put up tomorrow morning. I was supposed to put Speechless in the previous video, and I forgot, and I put Emmanuel instead. Oops. Alright, so the next one, the Heber City Temple. Apparently, there are some Mormons who don't want a temple. No, I'm sure they're Antichrist Korah whores. But they're complaining that the code, Heber City Code, Wasatch County Code, they're trying to shrink the temple. Don't want it too big. We've got the code. We got to stick to the code. You know, and I understand you don't like the church and you're trying to cause a problem with it. And there's concerns and all that, but looking at it unbiased, canceling out or pushing to the side for the moment that the church is the worst criminal, evil organization that has ever existed on the face of the earth, to look at it unbiased, this whole argument is stupid. It's in a rural area. The code allows for religion to build buildings. Just because it's going to be built tall because of the initial design, so what? So what? It's in a rural area. It's already going to conform to the environment with the design. Dear God, that you're making a fight where there is none to be had. If you want to go after the church, go after them for their financial crimes. That Mormons have to pay to go into the temple because now that they've paid, they're now worthy. Go after that. Don't go after the building design and the location. It's stupid. And so then, I'm saving the best for last. Hang on, Governor Cox. It's you. Utah, because of the drought that our government, led by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, caused, is now trying to figure out ways to not have the drought happen again. And so they're making it happen again. Their new water conservation is turning Utah into a desert again. And so there's a government place that they're now turning the landscape into a desert. I remember as a kid. I didn't memorize it. It's associative memory. My mind produced the image of the photosynthesis process. Where rain and sun are photosynthesized, is that the word? Into plants and vegetation, which then produces an outpouring of oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen. And the oxygen becomes water vapor and forms the clouds and then rain and the cycle of life on Earth. But nope. Instead of turning the desert into a rose, Isaiah prophecy, blossom as a rose. Nope, they want to blossom it as a desert. That's your Zion for you. But, spiritual feeling witness, hey, it's a paradise to me. All is well in Zion. Nothing to see here. Move along. Here you come, Cox. It's your turn. So, Cox held a special meeting today to call kids retarded. Governor Cox calls Utah kids retarded in a special meeting today. Now again, remember psychology. They love to cause problems, create problems where there is none to be had. Well, they did it again back when I was a kid too. See, psychology came from Nazi Germany. We gave asylum to human rights violators and brought them to America to work with our CIA. And so you've probably heard about MK Ultra, in which LSD was used by psychologists to observe the behavior of human beings, American citizens, on LSD. They were also trying other ways to do behavioral control of the masses. And this is where the problem comes in, calling television, video games, or social media addictive. Is they're purposely planting in the minds of adults, and thus kids, by transference, to believe that they are addictive, that there is a problem. This is what's called a self-fulfilling prophecy fallacy argument. Psychology is a fraud. They are not a science. You cannot categorize human behavior because there are just way too many causations for a single human behavioral response. But nope, they need a job. They got to pay for their homes and their lifestyles. And fooling the government and giving them doctor-patient confidentiality when they're not a doctor, they're just a PhD. And so, they were planted in our school systems. And so if a kid had a behavioral problem, he got sent to the school psycho. And yes, back in those days, we had those nicknames for the psychos. Quacks, shrinks, all that stuff. It was reverse attacking what the psychologists were doing to humans. Name calling. They would create self-fulfilling prophecy categories of human behavior and then bully the masses. And they would tell people, hey, if you watch TV, you're addicted. If you play video games, you're addicted. If you watch TikTok or Meta, you're addicted. It's a harm to children. Psychos, they're all responsible for this. And so, watching television, we had these things called commercials. There are YouTube channels where you can see commercials. You can also watch YouTube, and every single second, a commercial pops up. You want to watch a video, you click on it, commercials. You're watching the video, and all of a sudden, more commercials in the video. Internet streaming was supposed to get rid of all of that for us. YouTube itself is designed for commercial companies to have their own channel. But nope. They purposely screw up the AI algorithms to present us with stuff that we don't want to watch. Because that's the whole thing back in 2014. You'd go shopping, you'd purchase something or look at something, and then you'd go to another website and you'd search around, and ads would pop up. And the ads were exactly what you were looking at the shopping site. And you're going, oh my God, somebody's tracking me. Somebody knows what I'm doing online. And there was a big panic and scare, and so now they've kept it hidden from you so that you don't know that they're still doing it. This is AI. And it's because it tries to figure out your behavior in what you search for online. It's psycho-driven. And so as a result, I supposedly have 1,020 subscribers on YouTube. And just earlier today, in one of the signing in of my videos for uploading another video, I saw the notifications, and so I clicked on it, and it says I have 2 new subscribers from 3 weeks ago. Those subscribers in the analytics on my channel are ghost subscribers, because they're assuming that I should have a certain number of subscribers based on the number of views I get. And because of certain breakout videos lately, they're assuming I got so many extra views. And thus conference also. And so over the next month or two, I'm expecting that number will all of a sudden disappear. And I'll go back down to 1,000. As it adjusts, finally. But nonetheless, YouTube clearly is manipulating the algorithms to resist AI. Because if AI were actually independently driving YouTube and not biased to impose commercials by companies paying YouTube to force me to watch them, or channels that those channels pay YouTube to force to recommend to me, it would be a completely different scenario if it were my YouTube. You know, it's called YouTube for a reason, but no longer. It needs to be called our tube, not your tube. And so, yeah, YouTube has no clue how to run it. And that's why that one time, was it last year or 2 years ago, when Google stock tanked because of YouTube. And it was because of their commercials. And so they thought that the way to fix it, because some guy who gets paid to tell the boss what could be the problem, told them, hey, I know how we can fix this. Let's put in a ton more commercials that are irrelevant to the person watching them. If it were entertaining commercials, sure. Doritos often puts out hilarious commercials, stuff like that. But nope. and so it's just so stupid. But anyway, back to Cox calling Utah kids retarded. Now that I've exposed AI as being psycho-driven. And so watching commercials, there was a warning alert. We get those oftentimes. If you've been injured in a car accident, call this number today. We'll get you the money you deserve. Those type of warning commercials. This one didn't announce who they were, but in retrospect, they were psychos looking for business. And they gave a list of behavioral problems of your children. Me. Depressed, antisocial, spends time in his room. Me. And it wasn't because I was, it was because my mom. When I'm not allowed to watch TV, I go to my room. Because my mom said, if I see you, I'm going to put you to work. So we don't want to work, so we go to our room. That was her way of getting rid of us. And so they were saying that if your kid has those behaviors, they could be depressed. Now, depressed generally just means you're sad. So your mom dies, you should be depressed over that, assuming your mom was a good person and not like my mom. Mourn with those who mourn. From the scriptures, in case you don't look it up. Where does that come from? Mourn with those who mourn. No, if by chance you see a frown, do not let it stay. Force them to turn it into a smile. Then they'll be happy, and then they'll thank you later for it. Taking away their agency. Do they not sing that in primary anymore in the church? It was like every single time we went to primary, which was on Wednesdays back in those days. They always sang that song. And so, as a kid, I learned how to recreate the lyrics as a child. Follow the prophet, follow the prophet, follow the prophet, straight down to hell. I'm a kid. And then I would go on my mission, and in the Bronx, Flatbush, Not the Bronx, Brooklyn, Kirkland, Flatbush, Brooklyn. We're in an apartment with the Spanish elders, and there were 3 of them, or were there 2 sets? But regardless, I wake up one morning, and I have this dream where it's a song, Fruit Loops from Hell. I am a Fruit Loop from hell, and I have come to kill. I'm filled with sugar and other junk to destroy your earthly bod. Buy me, eat me, pour milk on me, make me your breakfast treat. Buy me every single day and watch your own defeat. Thank you. And so I drew in my little mission journal thing, which was the Franklin planner, and drew the picture of a cereal bowl and a spoon and then Fruit Loop doing a dive into the bowl. I was big on cartoons because, again, didn't want to memorize because of Fiskin. Didn't care about school anymore. Still an A student. But purposely chose not to do honors programs. And so I took all art electives. And so cartooning was part of that. And with the rubber ducky from Ernie, I took writing class, creative writing. And my rubber ducky and the tugboat was very popular in that class, which is similar to Calvin and Hobbes comics. Calvin plays with a rubber ducky in the bathtub and causes flooding. But I mixed the tugboat and the rubber ducky together to do all sorts of little stories and comic books, pickle comics. Girls don't understand why guys tease them. It's because we like you. We've got a crush on you. And so the commercials stopped. They're no longer threatening your parents that your kid's depressed and that they need to call this number immediately, which will hook them up with a psycho who wants to get paid for ruining your kid's life for the rest of their life, putting them on drugs instead of LSD. And yeah, there were lots of experimentations too. I can remember that now. Dear God. If you want to be a guinea pig and take our drugs to test them, call this number now. See if you qualify. Dear God. And so months pass. All silent. And then all of a sudden, here they come again. The same behavioral symptoms. Got associative memory. I remember these commercials. I was like, oh, they're back again. Nope. Different result now. Instead of being depressed, now your child is gay. Because this was the 80s of the homophobia fear. And so this involved, dear God, this is a long video for news. This involved the church again. The church had been practicing conversion therapy with psychology through LDS family services, in which it's the Clockwork Orange. And so, yes, lots of memories. The first date I ever had with a female, Cynthia Pollard. She preferred to be called Cindy. I had to ask my sister, what do I do? She's younger than I am. I'm the oldest kid. Have you asked her on a date? Oh, okay. Yeah. I can ask her on a date, and then ask her if she wants to go to was it prom? I think it was prom. It was the homecoming football game at Rick's. That's a different story. And so we were sitting there at the golf and stuff in Riverside, and we're doing the stereotypical questions. So, what color do you like? What's your favorite food? Favorite movie? And she says, A Clockwork Orange. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't gone to my local video store in Corona that was at the crossroads of the road where I would go to Norco High School. And then I used to go to the right, which was Auburn Jail, where lots of memories there too. The one peer of mine snuck in one night into the science lab and blew it up. Got thrown in prison. Charged as an adult. Because he was pissed off with the teacher. And then another Mormon peer got on his motorcycle, and was just speeding 100 plus miles per hour in the orange groves over in Corona on the east side of the freeway, over by the church and the school, Corona High School. Not too far from Keith Fenstermacher, who was also a Mormon and knew him that way. And came down a road right into the back of a semi-truck. And apparently our advisor had the photos of the scene and was showing it to us. Because I remember looking at the photos of it was bad. So that was one of the first times I'd known somebody who died. Sad stuff. And then so, right, gay. So Cynthia Pollard had to be done in super sacred secret. Only my sister knew about it. And so prom night comes, and I sneak out of the house with the car. I had the truck. Went over to her house, picked her up, and then realized I'd forgotten something. Probably was the corsage. I don't remember. But I came back home and rushed in the door, and my mom said, "Oh, what are you doing? What's going on?" "I'm busy. Leave me alone. Gotta go." Oh, there's somebody in the... "Oh, you have a date." Oops. Caught. And so this was awkward, because previous to that, with the homophobic scare that the church was doing and Clockwork Orange on those who were gay with conversion therapy, that's from the movie. It's rated R. You probably don't get to watch it because the church says no, it's addictive. I would go on to watch it and go, am I supposed to be concerned that Cindy wanted, well, that was her favorite movie? Is that what she wants to do to me? Or is it because it was a failed thing and that you can't really control the human nature of a man? The sexual nature of a man. The guy in the movie, Stanley Kubrick's movie, is not gay. He's a rapist and a criminal and a murderer with his little gang of merry men. And so, yeah, he gets caught and he gets put into a psychological program to run some tests to see if they can change his behavior through conversion therapy. So it was used for that purpose. And then if you've seen 1984, it's the same concept. He's given conversion therapy to change his behavior to conform and comply to the Big Brother. And smokers. Why? There's a whole long strip of road to smoke, and it's got to be right where my window is to... And so, at least it's not heroin this night. The other day, I think I still have the rash. That's a heroin rash. My body cannot handle secondhand heroin smoke, as I found out in the shelter. But anyway, and so my parents confront me and are concerned that I'm gay. Because the commercial, but not the commercial, it's the church. But the commercial, same symptoms, now you're gay. The church coming out. We're on alert, gay alert. The gay agenda is out to get us. And WikiLeaks released video clips that the Salt Lake Tribune also did videos of, and they're on YouTube still, about the secret apostle meetings where they're concerned about the gay agenda. Packer, risen from the grave to show he's a homophobe. Because they're clueless about it. And a member of the 70 is trying to explain it to them. And so, yes, we were told in Aaronic priesthood classes not to masturbate because you'll turn gay. These are all from psychologists who are just making stuff up to get a behavioral response, to get people to conform to their self-fulfilling prophecy category boxes. Bullying people. You're gay if you do this. You're gay if you do that. Everything was gay. Seriously. My bullying peers picked up on this and ran with it. You're gay. Well, you're gay for being gay. Just stupid. And so, come to find out, my parents also had to come and talk to us kids in a special family meeting. Your uncle thinks he's gay. My dad's brother. He married a Barbie doll, had 3 Barbie doll kids, girls. And then decided he's gay. And he's leaving the church, leaving his family. And that's it. He's out. And so, apparently my dad went to him and tried to condemn him, and guilt trip him about the church and standards and values and all that stuff, and failed. And his excuse for all of a sudden deciding to be gay was that, well, he remembers as a child growing up that he didn't want to go work on the farm with dad and brother. He wanted wanted to stay home and cook and clean with Mother. Yeah, that's not what makes you gay. There's only one way that makes you gay. And my peers made sure to graphically demonstrate with their fingers and verbal descriptions and trying to make me not like fudge. See, my mom would make fudge, usually around the Christmas holiday season. But she would put in nuts to help build the consistency of the fudge. I didn't like the nuts she was using because she was using walnuts. Peanuts would have been fine, but nope, she wants to do walnuts. I love nuts. There are just certain nuts I do not like and will not eat. They will not go in my body. If you try to trick me, you are my enemy. And so she would often make a pan of non-nut fudge. So, despite my peers trying to make me not like chocolate chip cookies, it's the movie Zippy. It was a commercial firm. They were trying to make commercials for companies that would hire them to make commercials. And Zippy, he leaves a trail of chocolatey goodness behind him. And it's got Martin Lawrence in it. Nothing to Lose. Yeah, hilarious. And there's some songs in there that I could use in the theme song in the description below too. And so, yeah, that was my excuse for my uncle claiming that he was born gay. He just didn't want to go work on the farm. Some of my peers, yeah, they were all about, oh, if you listen to this kind of music, you're gay. If you wear these kind of clothes, you're gay. If you like this color, you're gay. Everything. Dear God. There was no escaping it. But they were doing the tactics of psychologists. Bullies know bullies. And they get all their tricks from bullies. And so time goes by again. And I'm going, haven't heard that commercial in a while. And then, boom, there it is again. The same exact symptoms for being depressed and gay. But now we're entering into Bush War territory. It was actually pre-Bush, because wasn't he in 88 when he won? So yeah, it could have been, yeah, Reagan did some stuff too, the Contra affair thing. And so, yeah, whenever it was, and it was in our Corona home, not the Placentia home, when all this was happening. Because I can remember the scene of sitting in the chair that faced the TV, and we had the pool table right there in the room, and so it made it so that it was difficult to sit on the couch behind it to watch shows, but nobody really played the pool. Ping pong, yeah, when we were in Placentia, I became a master of ping pong as a kid. Literally. I could curve the ping pong ball. It was awesome. As a kid, and as a kid in it wasn't until Corona where I learned to have tennis elbow and do what I was told not to do, and did it anyway because it was awesome. An underhand curveball. Both hands. I taught myself to be ambidextrous as a kid. And I'm just throwing the ball, and it's just and getting strikes. It's awesome. And then now I have tennis elbow. And so this time, if you have those behaviors, you're now a depressed, gay terrorist. Psychologists create the monsters. You don't realize this. Charles Manson? Yeah. He was created. Helter Skelter. Tried to blame music. Those Beatles. I think Elvis, didn't he do a Helter Skelter? Probably just the Beatles. Motley Crue did a Helter Skelter. So yeah, Jim Jones, all of them. Religion. Psychology created the monsters. And so, yeah, they embrace Karl Marx. Religion is the opiate of the masses. I didn't quote it exactly right, but there are people who are trying to excuse that as a claim that Karl Marx was okay with religion. He liked religion. He was Christian. He believed in Jesus. He was baptized on his deathbed, like Constantine, the creator of Christianity. Got the tiny little bugs. Go away. I've got a screen now. They put screens in, but yet the little things still get through. And they're the more annoying. And apparently this one didn't realize that I am man and I will kill him for entering into my premise. Because he's the one that bites me and gets little bumps on my body while I'm sleeping. And then gets me sick with West Nile virus, other diseases and sicknesses. I might be a depressed gay terrorist from it. But yeah, it was abominable. I couldn't believe it as a kid. I literally felt threatened that an enemy that I don't know of is now claiming that I'm a terrorist. See, I knew it was ridiculous when they claimed I was depressed, and I knew it was ridiculous when they claimed I was gay. But now they're claiming I'm a terrorist. So in 2008, I would file a petition for a redress of grievances in the state of Utah against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because I needed protection. They were attacking me. And so, in the state of Utah, I found out that they don't give a damn about the federal law and the Constitution. This is an independent nation here. And so anybody petitioning for a redress of grievances against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a terrorist. And I was locked away in Utah's secret, sacred concentration camp. And if you don't think Utah has that, you've forgotten all about the Japanese internment camps. used during World War II. Now it's a family amusement ride. Off the I-80. You know, 6 years of my life because of the evils of this church. And so I've witnessed as psychologists would call people mentally retarded, then mentally disordered, then mentally diseased, then mentally ill, and then having behavioral problems, and now they're claiming mental health issues. They changed the naming of it. It's all the same thing. If you're bipolar, schizophrenic, whatever they make up, back under mental retarded, that's what you were. You're mentally retarded for being bipolar. You're mentally disordered because of bipolar. You're, what else did I have? Mentally diseased because you're bipolar. You're mentally ill because you're bipolar. You're behavioral problem because you're bipolar. You're mental health problem because you're bipolar. And we just had a University of Utah gymnast, is it? Who has retired because of mental retardation. See, they don't use that word anymore, and I think peers have forgotten, they just don't know what it is anymore, because it's long since gone. If you used to watch the commercials about the drugs for psycho drugs, they'd have as the list of reasons to take it is if you have tardive dyskinesia. That's where retard comes from. It's a second tardation. And it's the tardive dyskinesia. The drugs have problems with them. And thus you are required to take more drugs once you show the symptoms of the initial drugs they give you. And so by the time you're an elderly person in your 20s, you can probably have a whole cup of drugs to take because of the initial causation of retardation and all the side effects from the drugs and the side effects of the drugs for the side effects. Isn't that like what it is going to be like when we're elderly? The elderly have a whole thing of drugs they got to take every day because of the side effects and whatever the initial cause was, which is really just old age. I swear there are some apostles that I've heard over the pulpit of conference where I'm like, are you on drugs? You're on drugs, aren't you? You're taking some kind of a drug in order to stand at the pulpit and talk, aren't you? Dear God. And so yes, Cox called Utah kids mentally retarded. Because it doesn't matter which name calling you use in the spectrum over the decades. They're just calling it mental health issues now. And so yes, Utah local news are all over promoting family services for the church for mental health of children. You notice? They're all about the children. They're always attacking our children. Social media, video games, TV, porn. And claiming that it's all an addiction that you need a psycho for, because your mentally retarded kid needs help with his retardation. He's got to have his mental health. So yeah, that you should be completely paranoid and scared when somebody tells your kid that their mental health is in danger. And I get the comments using psychological bullying. You need to take your meds. You need to see a shrink. You're crazy. For what? Exposing the church as a fraud? A criminal fraud? A seditious conspiracy terrorist group? Lying to us, saying we're Christian and Jesus is our Christ, when we're supposed to be learning of the Jews with the man like Moses who is supposed to be our Christ. So you're using bigotry coupled with psychological bullying when you're not even a psychologist to be able to diagnose. But it doesn't require a degree or a license. Bullies have been doing it for decades. So there you have it. There's the news. Over an hour. And as you can see, I've got lots of memories on the corner of my mind. Tom Hanks from the movie Big. Also, Tom Selleck did that. He was in an episode of Tom's Magnum P.I. He was sitting in a booth at a restaurant across from a woman, and she makes him sing it. And he's singing Memories on the Corner of My Mind. But Tom Hanks is Big is the version I prefer because he's talking to his mom. And he wants to get off the phone and not talk about it. So there's Memories on the Corner of My Mind. Which, yes, it brings back memories for me too, because my parents, after Halloween one Saturday or Sunday, decided to tell us right before church, hey kids, we're going to be singing in sacrament meeting today as a family. I'm sick. Ate too much candy. I had already conditioned my body not to be sick from eating too much candy. So it worked. They went to church without me. They sang at church without me. I'm sure they didn't want me to go anyway, because I would have probably sung the alternative lyrics. So I then go sit at the TV, see what's on. Oh, the Dodgers are in the playoffs this year. Awesome. Because the Dodgers were always in the playoffs back in those days. This was in Placentia. And I'm watching the game, thinking everything is awesome. My parents and family are at church. And my dad decides to come home to check on me. Oops. He chooses that one time to be a dad. Yep. Busted.